Welcome back to Morning Glory 7:25. Delighted to be joined now, live, probably in his garden. No, I'm joking. Robert Jenrick, Shadow Justice Secretary. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
You didn't do the leaves, did you, Jenrick? I told you to clear it up if you were coming on again. It's just not good enough. I'm very well.
I'll get my broom out.
Yeah.
I'll get my broom out.
Just to let people know who love to call Rob, our very creative new feature. He'll be here next Tuesday. We're looking forward to that. Robert, thank you for joining us. So much to talk to you about. I guess I want to start with the main news story of the day. All over the Times and other newspapers, 1 million more on benefits who don't need to seek work means that 4 million people in this country are claiming. We've made the point all morning, and it will upset certain people, because when you raise this issue, genuine people with mental illness and disability go, oh my God, my benefits are under fire. No, my view was that's what the system is for, but it's being gamed, is it not, by too many lazy people, and we need to get better at this, don't we?
Yeah, look, we all want a safety net, don't we? And proper protection for those people who can't work. But we can't live in a country where millions and millions of people are out of work claiming benefits. We just can't afford that. And it's unfair on working people who right now getting up across the country, taking their kids to school, going out to work for long shifts. We've got to get those people back. Get people back into the workplace. And at the moment, what's this Labour government doing? They're doing completely the opposite. They've hiked taxes on businesses. Rachel Reeves' disastrous national insurance increase in her budget last year, which has meant that employers are actually shedding jobs, just at the time where we want those jobs to be being put forward and people being brought back into the workplace. And unemployment has been rising month after month after month, and now it's the highest level that we've known since those unique situations that we had during the pandemic. I'm really worried about the budget at the end of the month. Reeves looks like she's going to increase taxes all over again, which is going to put investment off, mean more jobs are going to be lost, stagnating economic growth. And for working people, it's going to mean that their taxes rise, because we're being told that Rachel Reeves is going to increase income tax. Flagrant breach of her manifesto pledge. If she does that, my view, she should go, because she will have lied to the British public.
When you look at it all, just me asking you this. When you look at where we've fallen in 17 months, taxes, crime, the border, benefits, internationally, did you imagine it would be this bad, genuinely? Did you?
No, look, I didn't. I knew it would be a bad government, but none of us thought it could be quite this bad. The country's in a mess right now, isn't it? Let's be clear. You've got taxes rising, unemployment going up, stagnating economic growth, strikes in the NHS, our borders are open. We've got prisoners walking free, and a Justice Secretary yesterday not even able to say whether prisoners are in or out of jail. There's one, he doesn't even know if he's been released or not. I don't know if he's checked his cell, but he couldn't even tell it was such a chaotic situation. And then we wake up this morning to these reports in the press that Keir Starmer is now so weak and paranoid that he's turning on his own cabinet ministers and is kind of machine gunning ministers in his own government. He needs to just get on and run the country, get a grip of these challenges that are facing the country.
You put it so well, you've jumped in front of me. I wanted to ask you about Calamity Lammy, because you absolutely nuked him, didn't you, yesterday? Confirming that 91 prisoners have been released by mistake in the past year since Labour came to power. At least 3 are still at large, including an Albanian drug dealer. He's been on the run for a year. But yes, the incompetence of David Lammy, I'm not taking anybody's side. It's absolutely shocking. He said, I think they've escaped. I think they're at large. I'm not really sure. He must be, I mean, many of them are, one of the best examples of somebody unfit for that great job. And a really important job, a job that you shadow. It is beyond comprehension that the Justice Secretary, the Deputy Prime Minister, doesn't even damn well know, Robert, whether somebody, as you said, is in a cell or isn't in a cell. What is he doing all day?
I have no confidence in David Lammy, and I've yet to meet anyone who does. He came to Parliament yesterday and admitted that a prisoner is being accidentally released from prison basically every other day. That 91 have been released accidentally since the spring. It may in fact be more than that, because there are some people he doesn't know whether they were in jail or not, such is the state of our prisons right now. And he basically tried to cover up these statistics, didn't he? He wouldn't say last week when he stood in for Keir Starmer at Prime Minister's Questions and eventually was dragged kicking and screaming to say so yesterday. Why? Because it's a total embarrassment and this is endangering the public. We laugh about it, and David Lammy, yeah, is a complete joke. But this is actually very serious because you've got dangerous criminals like sex offenders out on the streets of our country, making a mockery of our criminal justice system, wasting police time as manhunts are being set off left, right and centre across the country. Victims of these terrible crimes are extremely worried. Remember the testimony last week of the Epping victim, the young girl who was sexually assaulted there and was worried that her assaulter might come back to Epping and she might meet him once again. She couldn't get to sleep at night. That's the human cost of what's happening right now. And yet we've got a Justice Secretary who frankly doesn't have a clue. And I have no confidence in his ability to get a grip on this situation.
I love the fact that, sadly, that you touched upon the Epping story. And you're right, that girl's testimony. It seems to me we now live in a country under a government that does more for the people who perpetrate crime than the victims. But as the Shadow Justice Secretary, I'd love your response. The High Court judge yesterday saying asylum seekers should stay at the Bell Hotel in Epping. And just for people just tuning in, this is a hotel full of migrant men, not women and children, next to a girls' school, a school that has teenage girls, where a girl was sexually assaulted, whose life has been blighted, where caring mothers, the pink ladies, took to the streets with placards saying, we want to protect our kids. The council, God bless them, went to court and said, yes, you've won, no more migrants. Our own government, Robert, our own government got that retracted, verified yesterday, and those migrants, and we're not saying that all of them are sexual offenders, but there are fears and they are genuinely well-grounded, will be able to live in the Bell Hotel. What does that say about our justice system, and what more does it say about a government who don't care about female safety? It's appalling.
It's a total disgrace. And at one point, remember, the Home Office argued that the rights of illegal migrants should take priority over the rights of residents of towns and communities like Epping. Can you believe that? The Home Office of our country was saying that the rights of people who've broken in on small boats should take precedence over the mums, the grandmas, the hard-working, decent people who are out on the streets of Epping, worried about the safety of their children and their grandchildren. That hotel should obviously close, as should all of the asylum hotels. How do you do that? Well, by detaining and deporting everyone who arrives here illegally. Enough is enough. The patience of the British public has totally snapped. Frankly, it snapped a long time ago on this issue, as you saw in those protests, and protests elsewhere across the country, in Altrincham, in Fareham, in communities the length and breadth of the United Kingdom, who simply do not want this problem to continue for a day longer. Is Keir Starmer going to do that? Look, I don't think so. He is not doing what's necessary, which is to leave the ECHR, scrap our broken human rights laws, detain everyone who steps foot on our soil illegally, and then get them out of the country, either back home to their own country or to a safe third country like Rwanda or wherever it may be. We know how to fix this problem. We've known for a long time. That's why I resigned from the cabinet 2 years ago, because it was obvious to me that there was a solution to this. We've just got to get on and do it. That is what the British public are crying out for now.
Couldn't agree more. If you're the Justice Secretary, you wake up this morning and that judge has made that decision. A and 1, was that judge wrong or right? B and 2, if you're the Justice Secretary, do you fire that judge? What do you do?
Well, I think the law is actually the big problem here. We're a party to outdated human rights laws, like the European Convention on Human Rights, which may have been signed up to, written for noble reasons a generation or two ago, but now do not reflect the nature of modern life. They were created long before illegal migration existed as it does today. Winston Churchill and the signatories of the ECHR could never have imagined that what they were signing up to was going to be misused in this way. So it's time to leave those treaties now and put the British people first. Bring back these laws to our own country and secure our borders. Because I come to this from the simple perspective that a country that doesn't have borders is not really a country at all. and we've got to get a grip of this once and for all.
Two very straight questions to finish. You've been great. You talked about a briefing by Number 10 against possible leadership candidates. Wes Streeting on the round this morning saying it's nothing to do with me. You said taking a machine gun to his own ministers. Would you welcome a plot to remove Keir Starmer?
Well, I think Keir Starmer is one of the worst prime ministers in my lifetime, and what we've seen in the last 24 hours just shows how weak he's become, and paranoid, the fact that he's turning against his own cabinet. This is not a way to run this country, but particularly at a time when we're facing such serious challenges. I just want him to get back to his day job, which is actually trying to fix Britain, to tackle the backlogs in the NHS, to secure our borders, to raise living standards for people who are hard up right now. That's what this man should be focused on, not in the internal civil war in the Labour Party that's now broken out into the open and is consuming all of their time. Get back to doing the job that we actually elected him to do. Fix our country,
it's quite
make people's lives better.
I sit here and I think he is, as you said, possibly the most incompetent, least qualified person ever to be the Prime Minister of the country. And then I look at his front bench, Robert. I look at Calamity Lammy, and we'll laugh, but I don't mean it disrespectfully. I look at Rayner had to go. Louise Haigh was a criminal. The Transport Secretary, Yvette Cooper's failed in every job she's gone to. I will say this, and I'm not pro-Labour, the only one, and I'm not sure whether she's making a pitch or is saying it just for the sake of saying it, the only one that speaks the sort of language that you begin to think is correct-ish is Shabana Mahmood. I have no idea, but they are supremely underqualified if you look at them. And I think people's faith in this government has eroded in a really, really short time. I mean, can you imagine 17 months after striding into Downing Street with the biggest post-war majority? We're talking about, I mean, the Tories managed 3 in about 3 weeks. I mean, that was pretty unprecedented. But this is also, for the Labour Party, completely unprecedented, isn't it?
Yeah, no, this is a government that feels like it's in the end of days. This is a government that feels like it's got months left to live, and yet in theory it may drag on for 3.5 years. And my worry is actually for the country. Imagine the harm that can be done with 3.5 years of this rudderless government continuing. It's really almost sad to think of what will come to the country in this time. What can I do? Hold them to account every step of the way. Ensure that we are showing a better way and coming forward with serious answers to how we do fix the country, get people's living standards up, get homes built, secure our borders, tackle crime with this growing sense of lawlessness right now in our country. That's what I've got to do in the months ahead.
Final question, you've been great as ever. Big furore with the BBC. I think massive problems underneath, but of course Donald Trump is at the forefront of this. He apparently has verified overnight he's going to sue the BBC for $1 billion for defamation. My question to you is simple. Is Donald Trump right to sue the BBC, Robert Jenrick?
Well, I don't know the ins and outs of whether he's got a claim or not, but the BBC should obviously just apologise to him, do so sincerely for what it's done. But the bigger issue is what is the future of the BBC? They've got to use this moment to actually change their ways, represent the country properly, weed out all of the bias that we've seen in recent times. And if they don't, then I don't know if there's a future for the BBC licence fee. If they want it to be sustainable now and into the future, the BBC as an organisation has got to fundamentally change.
Just to finish, there you are again, putting yourself in the front line. Robert Jenrick, you went to a car boot sale, which in itself, in my world, is brave enough, because I've always got this thing about car boot sales. If you don't want it, just take it to the bloody tip. Anyway, off you went to a car boot sale, talking about, and you were threatened by a balaclava-clad car boot seller who was rather rude to you. Please, pray, we've got a video. This is poor Robert Jenrick being abused at a car boot sale. Never go to them. They're awful. Have a watch.
Yeah, otherwise we'd.
Where do you think they get? How much did you get that for?
100 quid.
That's a bargain, isn't it?
Otherwise we'd.
Where do you think?
No, f*** off.
We own this place, just move on.
So it's Sunday morning and we're at Hounslow car boot sale. This is one of the worst car boot sales in the country for selling stolen tools.
Hundreds, thousands of tools.
Lots of tools have got tradesmen's marks on them.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you're looking for a new career as an investigative journalist, Jenrick. You're being abused on a Sunday morning. This is brilliant. Good man. How was the car boot sale? Are you a fan?
Well, I like car boot sales, don't get me wrong, but the problem right now is that tradesmen, who are some of the most hard-working people in our country, are having their vans broken into and their tools stolen, and then they're being sold in plain sight at car boot sales right up and down the country. And I've been to 2 or 3 of them now. I went to Hounslow at the weekend, and you could see literally thousands of tools being sold there, and everyone knew what was going on. I spoke to the vendors. They knew what they were doing. They couldn't explain where they were getting the tools from. It was obvious that many of them, perhaps all of them, are actually nicked. And it's a total disgrace. We need the police to step up to raid these car boot sales. We need the councils to be in there closing them down if necessary, because we've got to have tradesmen's backs. We can't allow their tools to be stolen with impunity and their livelihoods to be wrecked as a result. And this is now an epidemic in our country. No one here in Westminster is talking about it.
Of course not.
They don't care about this issue. So I had to go to the car boot, so I'm going to keep on raising this until something actually happens and we get a grip on this problem.
Great work. Listen, it's been fantastic. Final question. This is from Christian. You know Christian very well. Has Robert Jenrick ever been on a personal level to a car boot sale and sold anything from the Jenrick household for money?
No, I haven't done a stall at a car boot sale. Maybe I should do. You're giving me an idea. I've got a lot of stuff in my garage, so
there you go.
Maybe I could do one at the new car boot sale.
So did Donald Trump.
I do like going to car boot
so did
sales.
Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Hopefully it won't be classified. Listen, Robert Jenrick, seriously, top man. Thank you for coming on. Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick, who will be with us on Tuesday for our fantastically well-named feature, Call Rob, which is basically... Oh, it's called Ring Rob. It's not called... Oh, sorry. Rewind. I got that creatively wrong. We've gone beyond Call Rob. That would be Call Soul, wouldn't it? Ring Rob. Next Tuesday on Morning Glory.